really love the quality of startups came from Israel, and today we had 7 startups, which is pretty good. And we're going to follow on with all of them.
For any startup that is interested in getting more clients, raising funds, and connecting to a market that's outside of the Israeli ecosystem, I urge participation in Axis Innovation.
Доброе утро, шалом лекулам, бокер тов. Меня зовут Дарина, и я рада приветствовать вас на 5-й ежегодной конференции израильских стартапов Access Russia. Спасибо вам большое, что вы нашли время присоединиться сегодня к нам. Мы начинаем. Hi everyone, my name is Darina, and I'm happy to welcome you here today, and thanks for your time for joining us today. It was a pleasure for me to be in touch with all of you, with our dear partners, sponsors, with investors. And I'm excited to have a great show. And now I want to give a word to our CEO, Ed Frank. Ed, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's good to be here. This is our 5th year that we're doing Access Russia. And unfortunately, we can't be with you today in Russia due to the global pandemic. We're hoping that all of you are staying safe and healthy during these times. Today, we have actually 10 exciting startups that are presenting. We have a wide range of investors, many of whom we've met over the past few years, and we're really excited about bringing you all together today. And tomorrow, we actually have about 25 Russian corporations that will also be meeting with the Israeli startups. So it's quite exciting. For today, for those of you who aren't familiar with Access Innovation, we work to bring the most exciting startups, technology startups from Israel and from other countries to some of the world's largest corporations and investors. We're starting a very big project this year again for Ford, which will take us all across Europe looking for innovative startups. And we work with some investors that are also we're helping them find innovative startups. In Russia in particular, we've seen a really strong connection over these past few years between Israeli startups and these investors, and we're happy to continue those engagements. Well, first, I'd like to also thank the startups that are participating today. We have a really wide range of startups in different technologies, and the format, which you'll hear in a moment, we're starting with startup pitches to investors. We have a second panel, and then we'll be going to a one-on-one session with breakout rooms. Before we begin, I just wanted to thank our sponsors. We have really 6 really close companies that we're working with. First, DLA Piper, which is the world's largest law firm. We've been working closely with Leo Batalov and his crew over these past few years. And if we were in Russia, we would be in their offices. So thank you, Leo. Also, we have Kaspersky, the international cyber company that began in Russia, who's one of our sponsors, and Vitaly Muzakov, who is joining us today. We have also FinCom, an international financial services company that works with Israeli companies and also with Russian companies. So Tanya Levin, thank you very much. Yigal Arnon, leading Israeli company in technology, startups, and deal making. So they represent many international investors. And Adrian, who's with us today, is also will be speaking in a few moments. And of course, the Israeli embassy in Russia and Yakir Davidovich, who will be speaking in a moment. And of course, Kathy Dunn from the Israel-Russian Business Council, who's been with us really since we began. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Yakir Davidson, who is the head of the Economic and Trade Mission in the Embassy of the State of Israel in the Russian Federation, who's been very helpful to help us get the word out and find international partners. So thank you, Yakir, and take it away, Yakir.
Thank you very much, Ed. Can you hear me? Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Ed. Thank you, Axis, for this cooperation. We've been cooperating with Axis for the past 5 years because we really do believe that such events are kind of a bridge between the countries and between societies, the economy, at all is a bridge, cultural bridge also. And although despite the major drop in the economies of both countries in the recent few months, I believe this is exactly the time to invest in innovation, and invest in everything which is not the core business that usually takes up all the resources and time. So this is the perfect time, and this is the perfect event to do so. We believe that such events are mutually beneficial, and this is why we're very happy to cooperate with Axis. We also see that in the past couple of months that we get double the approaches from both Israeli companies and Russian companies. So I'm very optimistic that the economical situation will be back. Let's say in 2 years, it will be back and maybe even better than what it used to be. So this kind of events sure take us to the next level, and we're very supportive of such events. So thank you, Axis, and thank you everybody for joining us today.
Okay, thank you very much, Kier. I really appreciate that, and that's good that we have good optimism because we can use that. I also now would like to introduce Kathy Dan, who's the Executive Director of the Israeli-Russian Business Council, has been working for many years trying to encourage and increase business. So Kathy, sorry we can't join you for dinner, but we're glad that we're here virtually. Kathy, we're going to welcome our participants today. Kathy, we can't hear you, so just hold on 1 second and take yourself off of mute.
Yeah, now?
Now we're good, okay.
Okay, hello everyone, shalom lekulam. I'm Katie Dan, Executive Director of the Israeli-Russian Business Council, and I'm very glad to see you today despite the situation around the world, and welcome you to this startup online conference, first online conference, Access Russia 2020. And I also put all my efforts to be here with you today despite of my injury, if you can see, but I hope we'll be okay. It's our fifth conference together as partners, and I would like to thank Ed and Darina for this long and effective cooperation, which I'm sure will continue with the same great success. Thank you, guys. As we all know, Israel views Russia as a strategic partner. It's very important for the Israeli-Russian Business Council as non-profit Israeli organization to build an economic bridge between two countries, discover new opportunities, elaborate new innovative projects. Our council was established to develop trade and economic relations between two countries with, of course, Israeli embassy in Moscow, with Israeli government and other business communities to provide professional support, consultancy to Israeli and Russian corporations and businessmen. The success of our business council haven't been achieved only through talented 10 years leadership of the chairman of the business council, is well-known Israeli-Russian businessman, developer, investor, Mr. Timur Ben-Yehuda Kikinashvili, and of course, current work of the entire team. So these goals are reached by providing opportunities to the business communities in different sectors. So how can we help you? What can we do for you? So consulting, planning, and business operations, selecting partners, investors for joint businesses in both countries, organizing meetings, conference, business forums and roundtables, arranging foreign business delegation, providing direct contacts between Russian and Israel businesses, signing agreements. We work close in cooperation with joint intergovernmental committee on trade and economic cooperation, with render the necessary government support. So there is more business cooperation between Israeli startups and Russian companies than most Israelis realize. Today, Russia is the capitalist as any other Western country. And most important for Israel is very hungry to work with local startups and established companies to help develop Russian industry while adding Israeli partners with access to markets they might never have been able to reach. And of course, you know, Israel is the home to clever, innovative, and strong people and businesses. And I believe that the Israeli innovation can help cope with the virus crisis. Israel is well equipped to deal with this. The Israel brain has extensive experience of times of emergency and thinking outside the box. And we want to do our bit in this difficult time. At the same time, Russia has a very strong potential, science and economic potential in different sectors. So by pulling together and backing each other, we will get through this. And I wish to all of you productive conference, new joint projects, and fruitful work. And remember, don't worry about the missing opportunities. This is the new time for everyone. Call us, write us, and follow us. And let's start to work together with us, as our slogan, Business Council, is for business people. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Kathy. And yeah, we've seen really the increases in Russian-Israeli business with the help of you and your commitment and organization. I want to introduce Adrian Daniels, who's a partner at Yigal Arnon, one of the Israelis' leading technology companies. We've had the pleasure of traveling together to Singapore, to New York, and we discussed with him the growing trade between Israel and Russia, and they're quite positioned to help deals happen. And Adrian, please take the floor.
Thank you, Ed. Good morning, everybody. Dobre utra. I hope I said that correctly. Daria is smiling, so I'm hoping that's a good thing. First of all, Yigal Arnon, we're very happy to continue our long partnership with Axis and with Ed. A few words about Yigal Arnon. We're one of Israel's oldest and most prestigious law firms and one of its largest law firms. We're a one-stop shop. In other words, we have specialities in basically all of the commercial areas that our commercial clients will need, whether that's real estate or litigation, taxation, banking, energy, and of course, technology. Yigal Arnon is probably the largest law firm when it comes to the representation of technology clients. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of technology clients. We represent them. We represent venture capital funds, family offices, angels, and of course, domestic and international corporations. We've been involved in the largest transactions, technology transactions in Israel, just for the last couple of years, for instance. We've represented Intel Capital in the acquisition, about multi-billion-dollar acquisitions of MoveIt, of Habana Labs, and of course of Mobileye. We represented NVIDIA in the multi-billion acquisition of Mellanox. And of course, the fact that we have such a large stable of technology clients and such a large practice, we're able as a result of that to enter into sort of creative billing arrangements with our clients. So just for instance, with our high-tech clients, usually we will represent them for no fees until they've managed to raise funds. So we are happy to take the risk along with them in order to help in their success. My partner, Simon Weintraub, and I will be happy to meet with you in the breakout session at around 12 o'clock Israel time today in a couple of hours. If any of you would like to learn a little bit more about Yigal Arnon and our capabilities, and we'd be happy to let you more about that. In the meantime, you haven't really come to hear me. I hope you have a very good morning and the rest of the day here and get a good a sense and a taste of the technology opportunities that Israel has to offer. So have a great day.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for your introduction, and it's great to be working with you again. I'm Jason Seal, a deal flow manager here at Axis Innovation. I'll be moderating our first session and very excited to jump right into it. As I mentioned, we have 10 startups presenting, breaking down into 2 sessions. Each session will have 5 startups presenting for 5 minutes each, followed by 5 minutes of Q&A from the investor panel. So to begin, I would like to invite our investors. I'll call you one by one, unmute yourself and give a short introduction to who you are, your fund, what you invest in. After the introductions, I will call the companies and you'll take the stage and share your screen. So without further ado, let's get started. Anton, would you like to start us off and introduce yourself? Let's see, Anton.
Hi everyone. My name is Anton. I represent Flashpoint. We are an alternative asset management platform for providing capital to early stage companies. Basically, we have 3 products under management: post-seed, Series A equity product, venture debt product for post-A, Series B stage, and then also secondary product for post-B, stage C. We are investing from the equity fund from our 3rd fund. In Israel, invested in mostly in B2B SaaS companies and in one consumer app. Most notable ones probably in Israel is Guesty, which raised about $60 million from Vertex, Magma, and Viola, as well as Commit, which has probably been platform for HR that is being using by over 300 local high-tech companies that are scaling to the US. So provide capital of $1 to $3 million at start and then scale forward.
Okay, thank you, Anton. Igor from Altair. Igor? I guess we'll come back to Igor. Valentina from ST Ventures.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. First of all, happy to see you all, and apologies, I do not have video due to some technical problems. ST Ventures is like investment fund, and we build and we invest in companies, so we do both. So we have already built around 20 products in dating, including dating.com, Date.nh, Anastasia Dates, and others. And we also do investment activities, and we invest in venture products, ideas, startups as well. Our main focus is consumer software, given our expertise in dating business. While we invest, we try to help companies with our knowledge in consumer software, since companies have similar problems like user acquisition, retention, relations with App Store, Google Play, fintech solutions, and other stuff. And we are trying to consult them with and share our expertise.
Okay, thank you. I see Igor, you're back. Why don't you take it away, please? Igor?
Hello. Samson with hello Jason, hello everybody. I'm Igor Rabinki, managing partner of Altair Capital. We invest at a relatively early stage, so from very beginning, when it's a really bright idea and a strong team. But our sweet spot is late seed and early round A. Our areas of expertise are, first of all, productivity tools, fintech, also direct to consumer, and digital health. Generally, we invest in projects with global outreach and good scalable models. We investors in such already well-known projects as Miro, which comes from Russia, former real-time board, Albert, Lily, which come from Israel, Open Web, and so on. Geographically, we mostly invest in Israel and USA, but we have a lot of projects with which are origin from Russia, but act globally. And we help projects not only with money, We have a very well developed ecosystem due to we did more than 200 deals. So we're very strong in connections, business development, proof of concept, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, Igor. So next, Danila from Terra VC.
Yeah, hello everyone. Nice to see you all. So I represent Terra VC and VC Ventures, a group of funds. We have about $80 million under management currently, looking at seed, round A, B stages. We opened offices in US, Russia, and Dubai. Also, we have from the beginning of this year, we have venture partner in Israel. Up to date, 20 portfolio companies. Recent investments include such companies like Speech, it's voice recognition awesome, it's back office and accounting automatization, Mail Science, EdTech, and UL Robotics, it's drones for logistics. We have about 40 institutional corporate LPs. Our primary technology focus includes artificial intelligence, energy tech, robotics, EdTech, logistics, and recently, after COVID, we started observing such technologies like sport tech, cyber tech, food tech, just to understand what is it and how to eat them. We strive to be value-added investors with hands-on approach. We help founders and managers in strategy clarification, future fundraising, top executive search, team strengthening, and exit generation. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. All right, so now it's time to get into the startup pitches. I'll call up each company. Once I do, please share your screen. And I would like to ask all the investors, everyone else, to make sure that you are muted during this time. So the first company we have is Pickup. Lior from Pickup, please take it away whenever you're ready.
Hi, so nice to meet you. I'm Lior, I'm the CEO of Pickup. Let me share my screen. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. So we are an Israeli startup. Some facts, we started in 2018 out of an accelerator in London. We raised until now around $1 million. We are live on 6 million devices of our clients. And our revenue in the last 10 months was about 250K. We work with clients, mostly telecoms like Vodafone, insurers like Unipol in Italy, American Express in Israel, and tier 1 telecom banks also in Croatia and the UK. And most importantly, what we do in the results, and we will discuss in a minute how we do it. We increase sales by 39%, and we increase efficiency of contact centers by 66%. Let me explain what we do. Today, those organizations that we are serving are selling to customers via the physical, let's say branches, via the digital channels, and via the phone channel. Today, due to COVID, there is less physical activity and more is coming to phone, because if you take mortgage or you renew a complex mobile plan, you don't do it over digital, and you take a loan, you do it on the phone channel, and we optimize this channel. The problem is that when your bank is calling you or a mobile operator, this is what you see. You see a black screen. When you pick up such a screen, most people don't pick up. The answering rate is only 15%. The bank needs 5 to 10 attempts until they get the client. And even after they get the client, 30% are hanging up. So they have very high cost in the call center, very low efficiency, and a lot of lost sales. And still, this is one of the main channels of sales. So it's a very huge channel, which gets personal and very good results, but still it suffers from very low efficiency. And what we can do is that we increase almost any KPI. We increase the answering rate by 66% to be 25%. We reach the customer between 1 to 4 attempts, and we get down the hangups from 30% to 15%. And so we lower the cost of the call centers, we higher the efficiency, and we increase sales. And the way we do it is that we basically transform the experience from the old-fashioned black screen that you get on the left to a more, let's say, digital, contextual, visual, and mostly personalized call screen. So now the customer knows who's calling him and why, and he can gladly pick up the phone. And we do it by an AI-based optimization platform. So now our customers can create a campaign, let's say for loan or mortgages. They can create different versions and they can start testing and see what works best. And our AI algorithms help them to personalize the call screen and to increase the answering rate and the sales rate. We also give them analytics of different time, what is the best time to call, what is the best campaign, what is the best image, what is the best funnel to go with your client. And we also have another more functionality. So for example, customers can sign on the call and things like that. They can see a post-call notification. So it's a whole suite of functionalities over the call. And the way we do all this magic is that we connect the contact center of our client, be it a teleco or an insurer or a bank, to a mobile SDK we put inside the mobile banking app that the user already have. So the user doesn't need to install anything new. It's already on an app that is already installed on his phone. And this is the way we make all this, let's say, magic work. This is how it looks from our technology perspective. We have 4 patents already approved in US, in Europe, in India, in China, and Israel. And we have 3 components. One is the mobile SDK, one is the contact center connector, and one is the AI platform in the cloud. Our business model is very simple. They pay or per customer contact center seat. If it's a bank, usually they take this model, or they pay per target, which is pay per volume. If they make 1 million calls per month, they pay per volume of targets. And this is basically what we did. We started 2 years ago in London. We have our first pilot agreement with Vodafone in February 19. In July last year, we already have 3 pilots at $40K each dollar, and we had 1 million installs. Now we have 6 million users installed. We have 2 commercial deals already signed. We have 5 pilots. And in 6 months from now, we will have at least 3 commercial deals. We already now, we know it. And we target the 90K MRR in order to raise the next round. And we will have at least 10 million installs. So this is in a nutshell about us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leon. Great presentation. So,
thank you.
Any of the investors who would like to ask questions? And make sure to unmute.
Can you actually tell what is the market for such a solution, and maybe as a follow-up also kind of the competition landscape?
What is the market size, you mean?
Yes. With your monetization that you currently kind of embedding into the solution.
We estimate that by the time we get to, let's say the ARPA, the average revenue per client is between 40 to 100K US dollars per month, depending on the volume. And we can get, when we get to 20 clients with the average ARPA, we will get to around 10 million ARR. This we estimate in 2 years. The market size at all is huge. Right now we have, for example, Telefonica is contacting us. Telefonica only in one country can make 2 million calls per month. So you can calculate it's a lot of money. And this market is only growing because the digital channel is nice, but the complex sales are done still by phone, and the phone efficiency is very low. So when we see more clients because of the COVID saying, hey, people don't come to the branches. We want to work with you in order to accelerate the sales by phone. And so we believe we can get to, in 2 years, to at least 10 million ARR.
Understood.
Igor, unmute yourself.
Mute.
Igor, muted?
Igor, you're on mute.
Okay, now unmuted.
Yeah.
Leon, question. I noticed, solution looks like very interesting, but you go after fragmented markets. It's because you have connections there. Why don't you go там? Why don't you concentrate on US market or, I don't know, what is consolidated? The UK, Asia, Germany?
Yeah.
You go more for fragmented market. Why?
We started in Europe and we saw demand in Europe. So we started there. We are now starting, because after we got the first millions of installs and the first client, working, now we are starting opening up, and we think about other markets as well. In this COVID situation, it's harder to travel, but we think of partnering with partnerships and then start to accelerate. This is also the reason we need money. Until today, we did it in a very small team, and all of this was from our connections, so we couldn't scale, but now we are looking to scale to other markets.
Okay, it is clear. And one more question is about you have looks like you have enterprise sale. So how long is a sales cycle, and how much you should spend for this sale, and average how much you gonna earn from?
So when we started, it took us more than 1 year to close the sale. Sometimes with with the banks, it takes even 1.5 years. Now we see that we have a way to do a fast POC, and then to start like a trial period, and then to start to accelerate. So now the sales cycle is around 6 months. This is what we see in the last customers. But as you say, it's larger corporates. It takes for them a large time to decide. So this is part of the pain of B2B softwares. Okay. But we focus on large enterprises only.
I understand. So,
Valentina or Danila, either of you have a question?
What are the technologies? You mentioned that you have 4 patents. Can you just briefly introduce maybe the most interesting deep tech?
Yeah, what we do, we have 2 main elements. One is the AI that predicts. We are, I think, the only company that know to do a special campaigns over phone, which is different from other campaigns, because you have a very small time to show the message to the customer and needs to decide, he needs to pick up. This is one pillar. The other pillar is how we made the technology go over a telephone network. We send digital information in real time, and we need to get to the customer before the call even gets there. So those are the main 2 pillars of the technology.
Yeah, I also have a question. So what exit are you anticipating? Have you seen any deals in that segment of similar companies that were bought, and what was the valuations of exit?
You mean about exit strategy? What we see, yes. we see interest from companies from the telephone space, like Genesis, like Cisco, like Avaya, from one stage. Other companies that build CRM, like IBM is talking with us because they want to integrate our product, and Amdocs as well, to integrate our product in the CRM that they sell to their customers. So I think those are the 2 main, let's say, potential buyers from the telephony ecosystem or from the CRM ecosystem. Salesforce, for example, as well. Similar companies, this is what they sold to.
Unfortunately, time is up. So thank you very much, Lior, for that. I want to mention another very important thing. We're going to show a poll after every startup. So this is to the investors. Let us know if you want to meet one-on-one. We'll get this result and we'll share it with the company. We'll make sure we arrange that meeting. So this is for anyone, panelist or attendee, wants to meet. We're going to pop this up after every pitch, so you can answer yes, and we'll make sure we make that introduction afterwards. So now, moving on to the second company, I'd like to invite Ron Augmented, sorry.
Thank you, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ron.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Jason. Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen. I'm going to start with a quick presentation here, followed by a very short video. If you can just please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, just make it full screen, and then we'll be good.
Full screen is coming up.
Perfect. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
Fantastic. Okay, everyone. My name is Ron. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Augmented. We started the company roughly 2 years ago We started, we're a team of engineers and people with a background and experience in the world of 3D content creation, augmented realities, virtual realities. And we kicked off the company by producing various projects for some of our clients. One was the hologram of the late President Shimon Peres, who was presented at the Prime Minister Innovation Summit here in Israel, and then again a year later in Kiev at the Yalta European Strategy Meeting. And some of our known clients are AT&T and others for whom we've done several projects. And some of these projects entail virtual reality, augmented reality projects, apps to help our clients increase their sales, increase their engagements, implement and bring in immersive technologies. We're currently 7 employees. Our offices are in Herzliya, Israel. We raised just shy over $1 million from a lead investor, a venture capital, in looking to complete a round of 1.5 million. In the process, we've built our technology that essentially takes this technology, mixed reality technologies, to a whole different level. Let's take a look for a second what's happening today. So a lot of people already know today what is augmented reality and what is virtual reality. Virtual, everything is digital and you put on a head mount display, but you're limited in this space where you can walk in. And augmented is basically presenting digital information and virtual elements on your natural surroundings. So you can walk around, but also look, see, and engage with virtual content. And what we see today is that a lot of different industries and a lot of different sectors are bringing in these technologies, implementing these technologies because it's cool, it's innovative, it's a new way to engage with customers who no longer come to the stores for obvious reasons and they want to bring their merchandise to their homes, etc. And what we see for a glimpse of the picture here in the background today is there are several problems, several challenges today when it actually comes to producing and creating this kind of content. The expectations of people who look at this kind of content is that they want to see something that looks good. They want to see something that looks real. If it doesn't look real, if it's not good enough, then you might look at it, you might play with it, but you're not going to buy it. So a lot of different industries like retail, real estate, and others, it's imperative for them that the visuals look realistic because otherwise their brand won't look good enough. We still see a lot of different industries trying to get to that level, trying to get to that point. And whereas the companies that produce this kind of content, AR apps, 3D mobile content for all these industries are struggling. It is very difficult to do that. Even though with the visuals that we see today on mobile games, for example, we're still seeing an increasing demand and an exponential demand in the need for this kind of content, even though that the content that we see on mobile devices doesn't even come close to what people are used to seeing on computers, PCs, and console gaming. So what are the challenges today of producing this kind of content? For starters, it's difficult. It's very hard to find people that know how to create good content like that. It's expensive, and at the end of the day, it is almost impossible to reach realistic content. And when you do, it's too heavy. So you can't download it, you can't play it on your mobile device. At the end of the day, you settle for low quality graphics.
Ron, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're running out of time. Do you want to show the video for 30 seconds?
Please.
Okay, so let's jump to the video so you can show the demo.
optimize for full share. And let's take a quick look at the video here that we put together for you.
It's no longer science fiction. With today's technology, the real and the virtual seamlessly merge, allowing us to expand our reality like never before.
Wait, hold on. Is this really what it's gonna look like? Because that's just not that great, honestly. Oh. That's where Augmented comes in.
Definitely.
Let's meet our team and engineers. Okay, that's not really them. Here we go. They developed a solution that will revolutionize 3D content creation. But let's see the challenges our industry is dealing with. In recent years, extended reality applications have become a major driving force of innovation in numerous industries. But at the moment, creating content for this new kind of digital experiences is still constrained by challenging limitations. The process is highly complex, expensive, and lengthy, and the limitations of consumer devices often result in compromising the quality of the experience. Utilizing its groundbreaking proprietary technology, Augmented has developed a platform that makes it possible to create high-end, realistic 3D visuals with ultimate mobile performance quickly and easily. The Augmented solution has a simple and fast workflow, doing away with expensive developers, lengthy production times, and low-quality results. In October 2018, in front of all the world's leaders, Augmented's technology came alive.
I'm so happy to see all of you here today.
Proving that the line between the physical and the digital can become truly invisible. Augmented. Dream it. Build it.
Jason, guys, can you still hear me?
Yeah, so look, we have maybe 2 minutes for questions, so I'm going to open the floor. We can probably take 2 questions from the investors. Igor.
Okay. Ren, I know problem very well. Okay, it stays the same 20 plus years. So tell me exactly, it's what is business model and what is your focused industry where you go?
Sure, thank you for that, Igor. So basically what we've designed technology that we're basically wrapping up in a platform. It's going to be a SaaS platform that's going to be available for all developers, indie developers, studios all over the world. We're looking at roughly about 10 million developers globally and 2 million studios today, and growing fast with the demand growing also for this kind of content. And basically giving them the tools and the ability to reach the quality and the speed that we are able to do today.
So basically, forget platform, you make development tools for 3D designers, yeah?
Yes, that is correct. 3D designer, 3D content, AR, VR, and mixed reality.
Okay. Do we have one more quick question? Any other investors? Okay, thank you, Ron.
Thank you very much, everyone.
We certainly will have time if anyone wants to ask more questions or meet with Ron afterwards. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay, next, I'd like to invite Lee from Suridata to take the stage.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. I'll share my screen. So let me know if you can see it. Yeah,
Yes.
Jason?
We're good.
Okay, great. Perfect. So I'm sure that you all can agree with the fact that every organization has its own unique sensitive data. It can be financial records, IP, customers' data, confidential information, any type of data that the organization would like to make sure that is well protected and secure. Today, security teams have various solutions to take active actions, such as the data protection solutions, data loss prevention, encryption, or deletion. But the real problem is that they don't know where the sensitive data is spread across the organization. So they can't effectively take actions to protect it. To be more specific, 4 out of 5 organizations admit that they don't know where the sensitive data resides across all their data sources, cloud or on-prem. And not knowing that exposes the organizations to millions of dollars in fines and recovery expenses, damage to their reputation, and loss of the most valuable assets. My name is Liv, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Data, and we are here to solve this challenge and to help organizations to gain the visibility and the control over their sensitive data. So what is happening today? Traditional solutions are based on patterns and rules, so they can't accurately handle the growing data amount, and they always require ongoing technical maintenance. Our NLP solution can understand data in a human-like way, so we can discover any type of sensitive data in any vertical to enable the organizations to achieve accurate results within days. And the platform is easy to deploy and doesn't require any manual work. We're using an autonomous learning ability in order to disrupt the traditional discovery and classification methods in order to enable every organization to gain the visibility and control over its tremendous data amount. One of our last use cases with the paying customer was to help them map what and where all the financial records or US employees and customers were saved across their data sources. They simply couldn't know what was saved and where. And using our solution, we enable them to get alerts on any time a new financial record is being created or uploaded to one of the unauthorized servers. So now they can effectively manage it. We launched our product in February. We already have paying customers, partnership in the US, and our pipeline consists of 21 qualified leads, which they are all based in the US. And they all have over 3,000 employees. In the industry is a software, healthcare, and financial industry. In terms of sales strategy, we chose an inside sales and partnership with value-added partners. We wanted to go for inside sales because of the great combination of our clear value proposition, easy installation, and a fully remote deployment. The average sales cycle is usually 3 to 6 months, and the POC takes usually a few days up to weeks, and can be conducted fully remotely. Today, we are reaching directly to our potential leads through LinkedIn and personal connections, and after completing the current round, we have a marketing plan to reach inbound prospects through LinkedIn, professional magazines, and online conferences. And in terms of our value-added partners, this is consulting firms, integration companies, and technology partners that are looking for solutions like ours. Our target audience is organizations with over 1,500 employees, which means we have almost 20,000 organizations in the US and 10,000 in Europe, multiplied by an average deal size of $300K per year. Our market reaches $9 billion. In terms of our pricing model, it is an annual subscription license based on the number of data sources connected. It is usually a function of the number of employees in the organization. So it starts with $50K till $500K per license. A little bit about the team. Together with me in Data, we have our founders, Eyal and Chaviv. Eyal is our CTO, A200 unit alumnus that have various experience from corporate and startups, and Chaviv, our COO security expert that led a team of consultants for 6 years in KPMG. And amazing and active advisors include NLP experts, professors from the Technion, experienced CISOs, and sales leaders. So this is our data. And we've raised so far $500K from friends and family. And now we're raising $1.5 million. The milestone for the round is $1 million ARR in 18 months with burn rate for 24 months. So that's it from my side.
Thank you, Lee. Excellent. Now I'll open the floor for Q&A.
On the product side, can you briefly like explain like on the paying customer side, like what did exactly do? Like so it's kind of siloed and you're allowed to find it, or how does it work in real life?
Sure. So we install the system or on a on-premise server, or it can be provided as a SaaS. The system is being connected to all the data sources, for example, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, file servers, endpoints, and then there is the first scanning. The first scanning is going through all the data sources, extract the data, analyzes it, and then indexing all the data that is relevant from what we found. This is the first scanning. And then we're doing an incremental scan that is looking for the changes and the new data that is being uploaded. And we're able to give the alerts on an ongoing basis for the organization. We have predefined insights that are relevant for the organization. They can customize for their needs as well, asking for getting alerts for, think about unauthorized servers or some specific categories of sensitive data that they would like to look for, M&A documents, for example, etc. And that's it. I think, is it more clear right now?
Yeah, so it's a predefined set of like financial stuff, and that is mostly exposed. Why? So your customers are basically like public companies, like that have the most exposure, where it's critical, or not necessarily?
So it can be any type of private or public company that would like to look for its own specific data, because the thing that is special about the solution is that it can be trained to look for any type of data. So it can be confidential projects, it can be an M&A project, it can be financial records. The system can learn what is sensitive for each organization within hours. So think about financial records or M&A projects or confidential specific projects that the organization has. So they can upload to the system a few file examples of the confidential data. The system will learn it autonomously without any manual intervention, and then will let the organization know where similar confidential information is spread across all the data sources, and give them the alert so they can take the action to delete, move, or block the access.
Okay.
Okay, for business, one question. Your target is in 18 months have 1 million MRR or
ARR.
ARR. So I wanted about your sales process. How many sales you going to do during this time?
So it depends on the size of the deal. So it will be around between 20 to 30 companies in 18 months. Depends on the large and the size of the organization. And we're doing through inside sales. We have now 2 leaders, Guri and Emmanuel, that are managing our pipeline and doing the outreach through LinkedIn and through personal connection. And when completing the round, we also have a marketing plan to have inbound prospects as well to reach our website and start the process from this side as well.
Okay.
Any more questions? 1 or 2 more?
Yeah, Lee, please clarify. Do you use voice recognition technology to understand what is staff is talking about on the calls?
No, so we're not using any voice recognition technology. We're using NLP, natural language processing, because we're analyzing text. So any file that we can extract text from it, we're analyzing it to understand it just like human read text and understand the content of it and the category and the sensitivity level. So we are focusing on this for this stage.
And how much did the first customer pay? So you mentioned that the contract is like 50K ACV. So did the first customer pay like five grand for a month for this?
So they are, it is an annual subscription, not a monthly, and they got an discount of 50%. So they're paying $20,000 per year.
Get it.
Okay, thank you. We need to wrap it up. Thank you very much, Lee, for the presentation. Now we're moving on to robot AI. And Uri, when you're ready, take it away.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us here. Let me start with something amazing. I want to show you something amazing. This is my cup, and I can grab it. It's amazing. Trust me, guys. We humans do it all the time without thinking, but imagine that you are a robot. You need to have a sensors to get some kind of lot of computation just to understand the position of the cup, the orientation of the cup. So it's a very hard thing to do, and we at Robot AI simplify it. So let me show how we do it. So, as I said, we learn many different things when we small. One of the main things that we learn is our ability to understand the position of objects in space, how far they are, the distance, orientation, and it's something that our brain can do. The same goes in robotics. If you have a robot and you want to pick things, grab things, move them around, you need to know the position of the objects. You use all kind of sensors like a depth cameras, whatever, but it's a very important information, and every robot needs to know where is the object are, how the distance and orientation of them. It's a huge market, 40.7 billion machine vision, people trying to do these things. And we know basic three technologies that are out there. One is laser-based, when you send the laser and you measure all kind of parameters, project light, and also using multiple cameras just to measure the position of objects. And they have different drawbacks like size, precision, price. So what we did, what is our magic? And you can do an experiment with me. Don't worry. You can close one eye and try to grab an object in front of you. I hope you can succeed. Yeah, do it. It's amazing, right? Our brain can do it. We can understand the position of object even without sending the light and the lasers. So we created a software that mimics our brain capability. It connects to any camera and uses single image to understand the position of objects in space. It gives you 6 parameters: X, Y, Z, position, and orientation. And it can look like this. I hope you can see the video. It can any known object, and we can attach video to it and measure parameters of this object, distance, orientation. We don't measure the size of the object, we know it, but we need to know where is it relative to us or relative to the camera. So they have a lot of capabilities, and it's a very attractive technology from different parameters. If you want to make your robots faster, we run very fast. We have a high precision. You can use optics like a microscope to get a small object, work with small object. And also we can work with different objects that are translucent, reflective, which is very hard to do using conventional laser-based technologies. We are addressing very basic technology. It's a human capability. And this is how we navigate in closed spaces, working from one to the another, manipulating objects. And also it's a lot of usage in augmented reality. When you want to attach some kind of information to the object, you need to know. Right now we're focusing mostly on manufacturing. We have a product that contains 2 parts of software. One software, we scan the object. You don't need the CAD files. It's very different from what you have out there. We scan the object, and then we create a model, and then we use this model to give you parameters of the position of object in real time, and you can use it for different purposes. Right now, we are targeting, as I said, robotics. We have several channels. One of the robot manufacturers, sensor manufacturers, they very much like our software, and also robot integrators, the guys that bring automation to the factories. In the color, you see all the companies that we are right now, our paid customers or paid POCs, huge companies like Nikon, Zik, Denso Corporation, Yaskawa. This is Fortune 500 companies. And we give the manufacturing process the possibility to be agile, flexible, and adapt to different changing conditions. Our business model, we sell these two pieces of the software for our customers. One customer usually buys a single model generation software and multiple runtime modules. And this is how we go to the market. Right now, we've been received around $500,000 from Israel Innovation Authority, small investments. We are scaling up in different countries. We are looking for $2 million to raise in the near future. And what we want to be, if you know Mobileye, it was mentioned previously, small cameras that you can put on any platform, drone, moving robots, whatever, and make it simple, the connection to the robot, to the external world, to objects that you want to see. We have a great team. All of us are very experienced. We have advanced degrees. I have a PhD in neuroscience and several degrees in electrical engineering. I was a CTO in a company called Tytocare, which raised around $100 million. And together with me, Dr. Ben-Zion Schayek, he's a machine vision expert, PhD in Tel Aviv University, and worked in Qualcomm. And Dr. Amit Kumar also is helping us with business development. And we have different manufacturing guys. So I can show you some small demos, how it looks like. This is like film it with a simple camera, how the robot moves. We can give you position orientation. You see this axis attached. It's a virtual axis, augmented reality thing. It can be done as any object, like this one, camera. We can just detect any object you want and make an augmented reality come alive. And this is one of the...
I hate to stop you, but I want to leave some time for questions. So
Okay, I'll stop the presentation. Thank you.
So go right ahead. Any of the investors would like to ask a question.
Yeah, on the kind of the market like penetration side, so there's a lot of robot arms, but they're in many cases they're used for like palleting. So in your solution is more applicable when you have to actually like pick something very discrete and that doesn't require you kind of like just moving boxes. So when you're taking the market like niche that you're trying to attack, like how many applicable use cases do you feel like there are?
It's a very hard to quantify because many jobs in a robotics, in a manufacturing industries, people are deployed there and they do this boring jobs. They take an object and put it in some kind of machine. And this is what we are targeting. And actually we make the solution much more cheaper and it allows much higher penetration to different manufacturing jobs. It's a huge market. Many big companies are very much interested in this because every manufacturing process today is related to this, and how many jobs we can provide and be useful. It's a very.
But is there any specific use case, like for example, palleting is, I don't know, it's like 10% of the market basically, that allows you to just one use case and get exposure to, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of like robotic arms. So with yours, is it like more tailored to a specific use case within a factory that requires you to some extent, basically working with the distributors and of the technology and the like engineers?
So right now at the business case we are looking at, it's called bean picking, like the palleting, but it's a little bit different. We take objects from some kind of random bean basket, and we give them, like you can arrange it on some kind of tray, put inside the machine, and it's huge multi-billion market, only this particular case. There's a competition there, but our technology much more advanced, and it gives you ability to work with objects that other technologies cannot work, and also cheaper.
Okay, so what at the end of the day are you going to sell? Are you going to sell your sensor to some producers, or are you going to make device based on your sensor? What is exactly?
We are selling software, and you can choose your sensor, because every solution in a manufacturer requires different sensors. Sometimes you work with very small objects. Sometimes you work with big objects. We don't care. You just give me the camera, give me the image, and we can extract from there the information. How your use case, it's really dependent on this particular manufacturer and what kind of problem.
Or in this case, your software is standalone, or it should be like for any new type of sensor, it should be trained, updated, and so on.
Yeah, I showed you. We train per image. So we train each new object that we have. We create a model, like understanding of the object. And then this model is used in real time, but we don't care about what kind of image sensor you have.
Okay. Ori, we have to wrap it up. We'll put up the poll right now for anybody who wants to set a meeting later on with Uri. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to Amir from Fugu. Please take it away.
Hi, everyone. One sec. Hi, everyone. I'm sharing my screen. For some reason, I cannot share my screen. Now I can.
Not yet?
No, now I can.
Okay, we see it. You're good.
Good, thank you. So, hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to us today. My name is Amir Sedras, and I'm the CEO and founder of Fugu. We are the first service tracking online payments after checkout, helping merchants accept transactions they currently lose. And I would like to explain you why and how we do it in the next few slides. Merchants today, doing business online is very tricky. You've got limited customer liability. If you accept payments which are fraudulent, you will probably have to pay them yourself as a merchant. Customer may deny transactions at their convenience. Accepting too many fraudulent transactions would probably be resulted in some punitive measures, which you'll get to be fined or even cut off with your payment provider. So it's very tricky. And what do merchants do? They overprotect themselves because of that. They start with completing 10% of their transactions manually. And you can see the costs there. They rule out valid transaction, which is even in a bigger amount than the fraud itself. And the most, I would say, problematic issue is that they ask too many questions, and the Aztec customers simply churn. And the numbers are huge. You can see the impact of all this is no less than shocking, and the business opportunity for Fugu is huge. And this is how it looks like in real life. This transaction would be probably ruled out by any payment risk provider or payment gateway in the world currently. Some of them are very known Israeli companies here. Just because the quantity, shipping address is not equal to billing address, it's shipped to Jamaica using a US billing address and a credit card. So it's red flagged, and it probably ruled out or routed to one of the, be asked too many questions. Fugu offers another option to accept the payment and decide as late as possible while continue monitoring and getting more information. This is my grandpa, Moshe. He knew nothing about the internet. But one thing he taught us is saying no to business is the last resort. We kept him in mind while building Fugu. What we wanted, as we use the time after payment, before actual risk starts, to help the merchants continue to collect information. As delivery process advances, sensors are activated over the mobile, website, emails, and all interactions are monitored. Signs of risks and evidence of value delivery are collected in preparation for potential disputes. Machine learning algorithms continuously evaluate the chances and the probability for chargeback and the chances of winning a dispute. Finally, the merchants can take decisions based on the most current information, for better or for worse. This is how our dashboard looks like. We are a SaaS solution integrated out of the box with most known e-commerce platforms like Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, even Wix. On the bottom left, you can see the payment evidence repository. Every interaction through the website, through the email, open, not open, click or not click. We predict the chances of fraud. On the top right, you can see that we predict the chances of fraud and against the chances of winning an unfortunate dispute. To encourage shorter decision cycles and faster data acquisition, we are the first one in the field to provide a freemium business model with the proven conversion triggers to the premium version, such as branding and such. We have 2 live customers. One of them is paying, both converted in less than our meeting. Our model is proven solid with clear distinction with fraudulent user behavior, fraudulent and non-fraudulent user behavior post-payment. Current stats show 4.3% increase in revenue and 500 man's hours saved. We and I know each other for a long time from the Naval Academy. We formed a team with a wide perspective to payment risk, far beyond data analysis, taking into consideration business process, human behavior, technological capability, and the ability to see things through. Matan Naor, our advisory board, is leading consumer risk at PayPal, the great believer on our post-payment philosophy. This is our ask. As you can see, we are a young startup. We ask for $1 million, mainly for sales and marketing purposes, which will bring us to, in 15 months, to 500K ARR with 30 paying customers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Amir. All right, let's open up to questions. Valentina, are you still there? Perhaps do you have a question? If not, we can jump to the other guys. Igor.
No, Amir, question.
Yes.
Your solution, it will be installed by checkout, or how does it work?
Our solution is an app, is an add-on to e-commerce platforms. So imagine we have an app, you install it on your Shopify store, and we integrate it in 3 points. One, we get the order details. We get the order detail as it's created or updated. We have a script installed on the website, and we have a pixel, tracking pixel in all our outgoing communications. We could initiate some communications from ourselves when scanning the card or selfie ID is required.
So it is add-on for my checkout and payment process, yeah? I collect customer behavior and collect payment. And afterwards, you give alert that it is fraud or it is false positive or what? I mean, because it's a lot already of such solutions which are fighting. What is make you specific? So
the fact that we continue to evaluate this the risk after the payment and not at POS is the major differentiator we have. So currently, current payment risk solutions, they will tell you at point of sales whether it's risky or not, while there is time before actual risk assumed before goods are shipped. We use that time to continue monitoring the interaction, and we see a clear distinction. A kosher client will interact with you, will open emails, and you'll see continuous interaction and cooperation with him, while a fraudster would be completely silent, you know? in general. We continue to monitor that, and then before you ship, we could tell you what's the recommended strategy in form of a score and based on the most current information.
It's kind of reducing the false positives, basically.
Reducing the false positive and churn, because sometimes you ask too many questions before payment, and then they ask. For example, you require the customer to be a registered user. That's a major churn cause. If you don't require them, but you could see their behavior after that, you be able to also attack that form of problem.
And how do you make the distribution? Because you're basically, yes, you can put it on the store and they can like try to reach it themselves, but kind of like getting to thousands of customers with to only get to like 500K ARR, like it seems like an immense job in terms of marketing. And then maybe as a follow-up question, like why do you decide like to focus on those specifically? Because the SMBs tend to churn a lot. So it's very hard to build like a net negative retention use case in a form of a SaaS solution when you're targeting very small businesses.
So we gave it a lot of thought, and we're only starting with the SMB because our first target is to record a lot of transactions to prove our model. And we were looking for quicker decision cycles. That's why we decided to go on the e-commerce platforms, on the SMBs. Of course, later on, our plan is to move on to enterprise direct sales with the proven statistics and model there. We see a lot of larger SMBs on top of Shopify. Our Shopify customer acquires around $600K dollars payments per month. So it's not the lower end, and we see bigger and bigger segments operating on top of the e-commerce platforms.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Amir. We have to wrap it up. Thank you very much to Amir, to Liad, to Ran, Lee, and Uri, and to our panelists, to Anton, to Igor, from Danila, and from Valentina. Thank you very much. That wraps up this session. Now I would be very happy to introduce our sponsor, Tanya Levin, who is the Israel and Russia partner at FinCom Group, to share a few words before we go into our second pitching session. So Tanya, if you're available, open up your mic and your camera.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Glad to see you. It's actually my first participation in an online conference. I would like to introduce my company, FinCom Group. We are helping to Israel company in Russia and in Israel to establish. We are providing fully services, accounting, CFO, and controller. I have a huge experience with startup, actually around 20 years. I have huge networking in Israel and Russia, and all company or VC which need our help, I will be a pleasure to work with you. That is all. And good luck to every participation in your opportunity in Russia.
Thank you, Tanya.
It was short. Can I?
Yeah, but you know.
Yeah, I know. This is why I wanted to add. Tanya is great. I know her from first day I came, started to work with Israel. Really very helpful, very good network, both for Russian companies and for Israeli companies. So it's highly recommended to work with her.
Thank you, Igor.
Thank you very much, Tanya. So next I would like to introduce Leo Batalov, who is our annual sponsor and supporter of Access Innovation and particularly Access Russia from DLA Piper. And he will also be the moderator for the second startup session. Leo, it's great to have you back. Please take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Great to be back. And I also will try to be brief. I'm a lawyer, and I specialize on startups and basically tech investments, tech M&A. Hi everybody, I see a lot of familiar faces. I have a, can I share the screen? I have a very brief, I promise, Igor, presentation about DLA. Just like you guys, can you see that? Yeah, you can. Can you? Yeah. So basically, really briefly, right? This is how great we are at venture capital. Number one, number two, different areas, different different locations, different the sectors, etc. They're constantly ranked high. In Russia, we win this awards as a Russian venture capital firm of the year every year since they started giving it out, and we just basically get it. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So basically, we have in Moscow about 25 people doing this stuff. We work closely with Israeli startups. And this is, we can service you all around, this is our offices around the world. I'm responsible, I co-chair DLA Emerging Growth Companies practice, and I'm responsible for everything but North America. Don't want to go there. I mean, no, they have their own specifics, and there are two guys there, they're great. And if you see any kind of London, Oslo, Helsinki, you name it, Singapore, we have offices there that and specialists that service startups. That's it for me. I tried to keep it nice and brief, and so not to take up time from the substance of this discussion. So my task is to introduce the panel, and then what Jason did, basically a lot better, big shoes to fill, a tough act to follow. And on the panel today, and I'll read the people first, and then I'll have them, then I call the names and have them come up and say a few words about themselves. Alexander Pak, Investment Director, TNT Investments. Alexey Alexanov, General Partner, Cabra VC. Iskander Giniatulin, VP Investment, Sistema VC. And Konstantin Gnip, Runa Capital. So, Alexander Pak, please, the microphone is yours.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you, we can hear you. You're looking great.
Morning, thank you. Good morning, colleagues. Nice to hear you here, and nice to see you. And I'm glad to participate in Access online conference. As I actually not a newcomer to Access, I visited Israel, I think 2 years ago, and I visited Access offline, which I liked a lot. So let me briefly just introduce myself to you. I am investment director at Timt Investments, which is a 100 million investment fund. It's publicly traded on the London Stock Exchange, and it's been active for 10 years now, and focusing on high growth and scalable projects in SaaS, mobile, cloud, security marketplaces. At Timt Investments, we've made over 60 transactions, and some of the early stage investments actually grew to unicorns, such as Bolt Taxi, Pipedrive CRM, Rike product management tool, and we had actually over 10 successful exits. We sold our companies to Monsanto, Yahoo, ServiceNow, AOL, and other acquirers. So we actually done several investments in Israel too. We invested in Workis, in Unicell, Clear, Contact Plus, Droop, and which we are happy to provide capital to other Israeli projects as well, and the projects at pre-Series A or Series A stages with proven business model and revenue tractions. So that's briefly about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Alexey Alexanov, Cabra VC. The floor is yours. Alexey Alexanov, Losha, going twice. Still there?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you and
well?
can see you. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you to all. And this is my third Access conference. And as always, it's very interesting. And I see a lot of familiar faces here as well. And we do investment on early stage to proceed up to Series A with follow-ons. We have closed about 27 deals for the last 4 years as we were founded. And we do investment in the US. We love customer engagement technologies. It's all about services and platform which positively affect on the customer side, on the client side, engagement, onboarding, customer care, customer support, all which can reduce churn and increase revenue and improve conversions on the client side. And we're also operate in India, where we cover fintech sector. I'm also a mentor at 500 startups and Alchemist Accelerator, and support a lot of startups over there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Iskander Geniatulin is next. If you're ready, whenever you're ready.
Hi, Leo. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all. I represent Sistema Venture Capital. It's a venture firm based in Moscow. We also have a venture partner in London. Regionally, we're focused on Russia, UK, and Israel, and Western Europe to a certain extent. Technology-wise, we are looking at startups using AI in pretty much any industry except probably for medicine and healthcare. We're 170 million. We have assets under management, US dollars, I mean, and more than 50% of our portfolio is outside of Russia. In Israel, so far, we have invested only in one company, unfortunately. We're very selective. It's Eskurim. Probably many of you have heard of it. It's my fourth time being at Access conference, and 3 of them have been in Russia and 1 in Israel. I'm very happy that notwithstanding current situation worldwide, Access is being able to conduct such an excellent events like this conference. This is pretty much it.
Thanks, Iskander. And our final panelist is Konstantin Gnip, is Bruna Capital. Konstantin, whenever you're ready.
Yes, hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for the invitation. Super glad to be here today. My name is Konstantin. I'm an associate at Bruna Capital, venture capital firm. We are international Series A/late seed VC firm. Our typical initial check size is something between $1 and $5 million. And with follow-on rounds, we can go up to $10 million within one company. We do have around 55 portfolio companies, and the split is roughly 50-50 between Europe and North America. There are three main investment verticals at Runa. The first one is deep tech, so everything related to open source technologies, infrastructure projects, and middleware. Then we have a B2B SaaS vertical and regulated industries. And by regulated industries, I mean fintech, edutech, and digital health. Once again, thanks a lot for the invitation and looking forward to hear great pitches.
Great, thank you very much, Konstantin. And we have, and now I'm on to introducing the startups. Our first up is Gideon with a startup ePlane, and they connect basically. He'll tell you more about that, but it's the that's exactly right for the airspace maintenance spare parts industry, how they connect everybody together. Gideon, it's all yours.
Hello everyone, can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
אני немножко говорить по-русски. Моя жена белорусский, so I'm working on it. So good to meet you, everyone. So let me tell you about ePlane. ePlane is it's a big B2B play. Our aim is to be like a Flexport, Convoy, Iron Planet, a multi-billion-dollar company, and we are working hard on doing that. We are connecting the highly fragmented maintenance and repair organization market. It's a $100 billion market. As consumers, we don't realize that to keep these aircrafts in the air, there's such a huge market behind the scenes of about $100 billion every year of trading. And we are bringing the disruption to this market. So we have a platform that is already very operational at very high volumes. It has very powerful machine learning algorithm. Everything is learned and enhances the platform results and bring automation. Almost all the activity in the system is automated. I'll explain as well. And we provide really a trading and an insight platform. You need to understand that today this market is a big, old-fashioned market using manual processes and no data. I am building the kind of Bloomberg data insights for this trading industry. And then we can take it to other markets, but this is a big market, and we'll talk about COVID as well. So this is, as I said, a big B2B digital transformation play. We are getting huge growth organically, almost 700% growth in 1 year in activity on the platform. And 4,000 companies today are on this, more than 4,000 are on the system. In the beginning of the year, Marubeni Corporation, the large Japanese trading house, $80 billion, of which about $1 billion is in aerospace, joined us as investors. Until then, we were backed by the Fularo Group. Fularo is the team behind Viber that was sold for $900 million and many other successful companies. Actually, the development team in Brest moved to me. It's my team, the CTO, the VP R&D. So we have a very strong experience in building very powerful platforms. So a bit about the market. In 2019, it was a $82 billion of trading, a lot in engine parts. These are the expensive parts. Through COVID, actually what's happening is that it is growing. It had now a blip, obviously, but the airlines are not going to invest in new aircrafts. So there will be more heavy maintenance. There's less people. There's more automation needed. And we see huge growth. We grew 60% in the 4 months of COVID in terms of activity on the platform. So very big market to date. And as I said, about 20,000 companies. It's not just Boeing and Airbus. There's a lot of distributors, OEMs, resellers, brokers, MROs, repair shops. It's really such a big market. We're very active in Russia with S7, a big user, and Uter and Airbridge Cargo, a lot of companies from Russia already using our platform to date. It's hard to put all the logos. As I said, there's about 4,000 companies today on the platform. Obviously, not everyone using every day. There's about 1,000 using on a weekly basis, but a lot of companies organically with no sales team really. So some numbers today, the demand value, obviously not everything is closed, but the demand value is almost $1 billion run rate. So in June, we were at $70 million already. In 1 year, we grew from 8 million a month to 70 million a month of demand, about 50,000, more than 50,000 RFQs. And we have in our virtual inventory through ERP synchronization, we're the only platform in the space that it's a constraint. You have to sync your ERP. We have about 500 million parts and repair capabilities in our system today. The average deal size is about $10,000. So it's big numbers play. It's there. The benefits we bring are.
You have about 30 seconds.
Oh,
sorry
really?
to be, yeah,
Okay.
but if
The
you run a little over, it's
benefits-
okay.
You know, the benefits we're bringing are huge. The big play from the monetization point of view is data, fulfillment. We fulfill deals when you cannot buy for approval or whatever, and financing. We're already working with the financial institutions to provide factoring, escrow, and financing on the platform. With the growth of the numbers, we switching on now the different monetization. You know, you get to very big numbers very quickly. And now we want to bring other partners to join the Marubeni group and to help us grow this to be the multi-billion-dollar company it should be. So I have more slides, you know, about our growth rate and just to give you an idea, about 150 companies joining every month organically. We didn't talk about the AI, but the blue is the autopilot, is automation. So today the machine automates the work for the buyers. About 75% of the work is being automated. So no need to search and start activity. It does everything for the buyers. Even through ERP connectivity, it's a machine to machine. There's a lot of deep technology here. It's beyond an e-commerce website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Well, yeah, I'll turn over to our panel and, you know, ask some questions, and you can tell us a little bit more, maybe build on something you couldn't get to.
With pleasure.
In your slides.
So Gideon, it's Alexander. And what's your business model? We just haven't had a chance to
so we just launched our first two parts of the business model. One is promotion. We have assets like engines, big assets. We have about $100 million of big assets on the platform. We don't show the sellers like any other part, and then we get a percentage of the big assets deals. And fulfillment plus payments. We have a lot of deals that, you know, it's a very regulated market. You can only buy from approved suppliers. You can only sell to approved buyers. We open the market, and when they want to transact, and there's a lot of complexity of deals, you can buy, you can exchange, you can loan, a lot of, they do it through us, and we take a 5% on the fulfillment.
So you mostly do lead generation. You don't actually sell or buy any parts. You just...
We don't. We sell and buy for the fulfillment. Next step is data. We have a very strong AI engine. So we have a lot of data on an individual user. We're aggregating it and opening. That's a SaaS model. We're opening to the market, the Bloomberg. And the next step will be the financing, factoring in escrow, where we get a cut of the deal.
You have 5% fixed commission, or it depends on the size of the contract, or it varies?
5% fixed on the fulfillment. On the advertising, you don't get. You know, you get about 1% on an engine that costs $9 million.
How do you market yourself?
Today, we do some shows, events online. It's a word of mouth. We get about 150 companies every month, new ones, about 300 users. To be honest, with 5 customer support team, I cannot onboard everyone. We are working on that. We do webinars every week. We just had one this morning to train, because there is complexity in the system. It's very easy and beautiful, but there is complexity. I want to, once we complete the funding, I want to put people in China, which is a huge market, USA and Europe, because you need to build the personal relationships as well. Although it's a platform, it's a B2B play.
Thanks, Gideon. Unfortunately we're out of time, but you know, you can, guys, Alex, Losha, I saw you like you had a question, but you can write it in a private message to Gideon in the chat. So sorry.
Yeah, no, there's one-on-ones later. I'm happy to continue.
Yeah. And
we'll join your webinar, Gideon.
Later. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Our next presenter is Gal with Talenia, and it's a platform that artificial intelligence, machine learning that connects, helps to search for talent. So Gal, if you're here, the floor is yours.
All right, do you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Gal Almog. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Talenia. We're a 3-year-old company with about 30 people. We raised about $10 million so far, and another $1 million from the Israeli Innovation Authority. I'm a 20-year veteran of the recruitment technology, and I've built already a company that's a world leader in recruitment advertising technology that I left in 2017 to start Talenia. You probably, at one point in your life, or more than maybe one point, you hired people or used people to help you find talent and hire them. And recruitment is probably the last standing industry where people sit by computers, enter keywords, and then sift through profiles. And I started Talenia to change this situation and bring talent sourcing to a new level using AI. So basically, we were able to develop technology that allows companies to find 3 times more qualified candidates in half of the time. When I say 3 times, I'm talking about 3 times more candidates that they can find on LinkedIn. We help them engage with the candidates and overall increase their recruitment KPIs and productivity. The challenges we are facing and addressing are that talent data is distributed across many sources online. It could be on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on GitHub, on Stack Overflow. So there's no one source to find talent. The information is not necessarily up to date. People don't update their profile all the time. So we're starting with a very problematic situation of partial outdated data. Then the method that companies use today when they search for talent is Boolean search, keyword search. So they need to enter every keyword that they can come up with and find people who happen to have that keyword on their profile. That results in the fact that only 33% of the talent is accessible to existing tools, while 66% is inaccessible. And there's no really UI. LinkedIn doesn't have any UI. You don't learn from search to search, and you don't take advantage of AI technology. So we have developed that technology. First of all, we tap into multiple sources of data, LinkedIn being only one of them. We have our own database of 800 million resumes. We always look for fresh information. So even though we have resumes, we always check the last update. We curate information from multiple sites, and we build profiles of candidates that are richer than anything out there in the market. We actually have the ability to add skills that people have failed to put on their profile, and we use predictive analytics to find skills that they do have and add them to their profile and make them richer and more up to date. Then we've eliminated Boolean search. We don't require the client to use any keywords. They simply upload the job description and a profile of an ideal candidate, and our AI would look at the information, create a search, and then our bot would interact with the recruiter, show them profiles and ask them to say yes or no, and if no, why, so we can learn about specific preferences. Recruitment is a very complex process. We are trying to not only get the machine to do what humans do using their brain, but do it in a more sophisticated and higher quality using AI. And we create a list of candidates that are prioritized by how qualified they are for the job and what's their likelihood to be interested in a new job. We have predictive analytics that can predict how soon the candidate might be interested in moving to a new job, so we can reach them not only if they're good, but also at the perfect timing, moments before they start their job search. And then finally,
yeah, sorry, I just wanted to say 30 seconds left.
Okay, and we have bots that automate the engagement. Basically, the last thing we do, which is new, we've created AI that allows you to make slight changes in the job requirements. We recommend the job requirement that you might be willing to change, and shows you the increase in diverse candidate representation in the talent pool for your job. So this is the first product that does diversity improvement without changing, priority for women or minorities, and giving the, Black Lives Matter movement in the US. This is a product in great demand. And that's it. We raised $11 million so far. Last round was in October 2019. We raised $5 million. Next round is probably around fourth quarter of this year.
Thank you, Gal. And with that, I'll turn over to the panel. You guys have questions for Gal?
Yeah, I have one question. Could you talk a little bit more about the technology itself? So you mentioned that you're able to show fresh and complete data. So there is a question, where and how do you find the skills that person didn't put into the resume?
Yeah, so in the simplistic way, if you are looking for a data scientist, we would look at, 1 million data scientists, and we will see that Python is common to 90%. We will assume that the 10% that didn't put it, but are very, very similar in experience and skills, would have it, and we add that skill. And we are accurate in about 95% of the cases. And without those skills added to the profile, that candidate would not be found, certainly not with keyword search.
What percentage of your customer base is from IT industry?
A lot. I would say, the majority, but we also have now recently a growing number of healthcare companies. For example, we have FedEx. You wouldn't think that FedEx would be interested in a sourcing tool like that, but they look for truck drivers, and truck drivers are in scarcity in the U.S. Getting $150,000 a year, and we're able to find 3 to 10 times more truck drivers that are able to find themselves. So we're not limited to a specific industry. It was choice of focus on IT initially, and then healthcare, and then we expanded to finance and other areas.
One more quick question. We're running 15 minutes late, so all the one-on-one will start 15 minutes late. So one more question, quick question for Gal. No, it sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then the next up is Jonathan with Inango Systems. They provide software for telecoms, and we'll tell more about that and their equipment. Jonathan, you here?
Yes, I'm here, Leo. I can't share my screen. It says host disabled.
Interesting. I can share my screen.
Jonathan, please check your check again. Thanks.
Okay, I think I'm okay now.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay. So it's okay?
Yeah, we can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leo, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jonathan Mazel. I'm the CEO of Inango Systems. A couple of slides about who Inango is. We're an Israeli-based software company. We do software for a broad range of communication systems. We have existing revenues and so on. The subject of today's presentation is a new product that we've developed. Our team today is about 70 people, headquartered in Israel. We've got fully owned subsidiaries in Russia and Ukraine and a small office in North America. We're an experienced team. This is my third startup. The CTO is a guy with over 20 years experience in the industry, and we've been around for a while. We were founded in 2010, so about 10 years old, no external funding. So we've been self-funded from day one. We have some very large customers in our portfolio today. We're active in several open source software communities. And it's worthwhile pointing out that our Russian subsidiary is a Skolkovo company. So the product that I wanted to speak with you about today is called Virtual Services. And it's driven by a desire that most internet service providers have to offer their subscribers, their end customers, with value-added software services. So it can be business-related services, it can be residential services, anything from cyber-based security, to smart home applications, VPN servers, and so on and so on. In general, we'll call it cloud-based software services. It's an enormous market. There's a Gartner report that estimated at over $200 billion last year and growing very quickly. But the service providers themselves are restricted. They're hampered at the rate at which they can capture market share because they're working in basically what are old and inefficient methods. Essentially, when a provider wants to offer us services, and they all do today, virtually all do today, they do it by integrating software, additional software on the routers that they're deploying in our homes or offices. There's significant upfront cost to that. It often requires upgrading equipment that's already deployed. We had a conversation not long ago with a large European provider who's got 5 million modems that he needs to upgrade in order to deploy new services. There's a large software integration effort that needs to happen before the service can be deployed. And then software maintenance is an even bigger nightmare because they need to manage a code base that's essentially coming from multiple providers. The inevitable result is it leads to compromises. So for example, if someone has deployed a cyber solution based on a McAfee and then Kaspersky come out with a better version in a month, the effort and the cost of changing is so high, it's almost impossible to do. So we offer them a better way of doing it. It's based on deploying the services in clouds instead of inside the routers. And we can do it using virtualization technology that lets us offer a broader range of services without any loss of functionality at all. So that's what we call service orchestration. So what we provide is a platform that a service provider can install at his data center that handles the entire cycle of authentication of users, downloading or deploying software services or activating them from the cloud, doing configuration, applying user profiles, activating the service, And then when they're operational, they keep an extensive set of events, logs, and alarm generations. So that's essentially what our platform does. The benefits that it offers to service providers are many and very significant. It gives them a lot more freedom and flexibility as to which services they offer and the ability to switch between different types of services. But fundamentally, it offers huge cost efficiencies, both in one-time upfront costs. We completely avoid the need to do software integration projects. We also can greatly extend the life of deployed equipment. But we also reduce the software maintenance costs equally significantly because everything is in the cloud. It's much simpler to maintain. And we do this all in a fully automated way. What sort of services can we offer? Well, today, most of the providers that we are in contact with offer either some sort of security cyber type of package, like a Kaspersky or a Avast or McAfee or so on. And many offer a Wi-Fi diagnostics or analysis package. But there's much more that you can do if you have a flexible platform that gives you a lot more nimble way of working. So we have all sorts of other types of services. The more we get into conversations with prospective customers, the more and more opportunities we see for different types of services. All of the ones I've listed here are ones that we can demonstrate today, and we're actively demonstrating. We're almost continually working on expanding the portfolio. In terms
we're almost out of time. Sorry, as always. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. It's just about the last slide. So our business model is SaaS. We license the use of our platform on a per service, per user basis, either monthly or annually. In terms of where we are, we have our first version of the product is ready. We expect to get first commercial licenses, first commercial deployments in the fourth quarter of this year. The initial customers give us a subscriber base, an addressable subscriber base of about 5 million subscribers. And we're in in-depth discussions with much larger service providers that gives us access to over 25 million with prospects for many more. Okay, so that's where we are right now. So far for the presentation, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
Thank you. Any questions from the panel?
Yeah, there is a question from my side. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Could we talk a little bit about the competitors? Things that I have seen several similar companies, both in Europe and the States, that have a very similar pitch. So who would be the main competitor at your space, and how would you win against them?
Okay, there's not that many competitors. Okay, it's a new concept. The Bosch is not really a competitor. Bosch we actually did an integration with. They're a potential partner / customer of ours. They provide an IoT framework, but that also requires integration of a large piece of software on the routers. That's what Deutsche Telekom, for example, deploy. So we actually did integration with Bosch. That's not a competitor. The one company that I'm aware of that can be, that's in the same sort of space as a US company called Plume. They originally were a Wi-Fi company. They offer a similar sounding type of platform, offering many types of services from the cloud. The biggest difference between us and Plume is that we're much more open. They want to be a one-stop shop where they provide all the services themselves. Our approach is to provide a very simple integration path with standard third parties. So we could work with a Kaspersky or a Bosch or Plume themselves, whereas a company like Plume would have great difficulty in doing that.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Our next presenter is Hagei with OmniStream, which revolutionizing broadcasting, which Hagei will tell us all about that.
Good morning, Dober din. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me correct.
We can hear you great.
Good. In a nutshell, OmniStream is a communication platform. We make software for uplink from the field. We don't do downlink, we do uplink. So if you want to transmit live video, audio, or data from the field, we have a technology that uses cellular networks to do that. If you don't mind, I suggest we start with an introduction clip of 1 minute that will simplify everything, and then I can continue orally.
В современном мире осуществление вещания в прямом эфире не составляет никакого труда благодаря инновационным решениям, таким как сотовая связь, которая обладает множеством преимуществ по сравнению с другими способами вещания. Но нам все равно приходится носить громоздкое оборудование, которое может ограничивать ваше передвижение, когда это необходимо. Только представьте, что если бы существовал легкий и удобный способ вещания без недостатков. Что ж, он существует. OmniStream. Мы используем стандартный и компактный 4G видеокодер или смартфоны для достижения необходимой высокоскоростной сотовой связи, которая не требует использования какого-либо громоздкого оборудования. Это простой процесс. Видео с вашей камеры или смартфона передается в наше современное мобильное приложение, которое использует видеокодер с несколькими сим-картами, чтобы распределить данные на пакеты и перенаправить их на наш облачный сервер, где практически мгновенно создается видеопоток и отправляется в центр вещания или нужную вам платформу социальной сети. Вот и все. Связь по сотовой сети также может быть обеспечена с помощью нескольких стандартных смартфонов. Более того, наше решение намного дешевле, чем альтернативные предложения. Вы также можете приобрести посуточную, недельную или месячную лицензию и платить только за то, что вам нужно, без необходимости осуществлять постоянные покупки или заключать длительный контракт. Но лучше один раз попробовать, чем 100 раз услышать. Испытайте OmniStream бесплатно прямо сегодня на www.omnistream.live.
Were you able to see the presentation, the clip? Sorry.
Yeah, it was great.
Just a second. Just a second. I just want to share a presentation, show a few slides. Okay, so essentially we're a pipe. We're aggregating a few cellular channels from different providers. Each one of them can be very unstable. Each one of them can give you very little bandwidth, but all of them together give you a very nice pipe for live video, audio, or data. This you have seen. This market is developed already. There are about 10 manufacturers. They all do the same. They sell hardware boxes. They sell it at about $1,000 per month. And out of something like 60,000 potential customers worldwide, 100,000, depends how you count, only 1,000 of them use cellular bonding technology, this technology. Why? Because it's expensive, it's complicated, it requires a lot of logistics, it has many problems. We come to solve this in a different approach. Instead of hardware, we sell software. Instead of on-premise servers, we do everything on the cloud. Instead of boxes manufactured in Israel or any other place, we use standard smartphones that each one of you has in the pocket. And instead of selling something at a one-time purchase, which is very expensive, or a monthly contract, which is very expensive, we can charge you per day, per event. So for a customer, for a potential broadcaster, it's a no-brainer. It's almost nothing in terms of investment. I'll give you an example of an event we did in Russia. It was in Murmansk, North Russia. Russia is a country which is strategic for us. We work a lot there. So there was a TV station, Arctic TV. I don't know if you know it. It's north part of Russia. They needed to do very big production under Corona constraints. They had about 3 days to do everything. They didn't have time to import these hardware boxes to Russia and install and train everybody. So with our app, they downloaded the app, they equipped everybody. They did the session, transmitted live to millions of viewers in Russia in real time. very high quality, no fluctuations in the video, everything was perfect. And they paid something like $150 for it, just for one day, instead of a payment of about $3,000 per day for such production. So it was 10 times better, really 10 times better than any other thing they could use. Everybody can make pizza. What's our secret sauce? We have a lot of innovation, many algorithms, aggregating smartphones and do something which is really professional, really enterprise with smartphones, which cost about $50 per device, is not easy. We have one registered patent and the second is in process. We have received many research and scientific grants from Horizon 2020, from Microsoft, from the Israeli Intelligence Secret Services. And I'm trying to raise about $1 million to develop a technology which will allow us to overcome cellular congestion problem. So imagine there's a large demonstration or concentration of people where you cannot use the network because it's congested, it's not available for you. Our technology will allow you to jump to a different cell tower, a different antenna, and continue enjoy constant communication.
Thanks again. We're out of time. In 20 minutes late for one-on-one presentations now, due to my lax timekeeping. If there's any questions from the panel, feel free.
Do you? I didn't get what is included in your technology. Do you use optimization software for managing cellular network, or do you use optimization of packages of data, or like? Have you found a great way to use CDN services of cellular operators? How does your technology work in details?
Okay, so we sell an app. So imagine you, Leo, and I are in the field. Each one of us has the app on his smartphone. The app can aggregate all three smartphones of us. So you have a Megaphone, I have Beeline, and Leo has another operator. So they're all aggregated together and they share the load. So if the source of the video is from you, either using your smartphone camera or an external camera, but the source is yours, your smartphone chops the video to packets, send different number of packets to Leo and myself, depends on our algorithm, depends on many technical parameters. Each one of the smartphones send the packets to a cloud server that can be in Moscow, for example, Helsinki, doesn't matter where. The cloud server reconstructs everything and sends back to a server where you want. In that example I showed before, it was Arctic TV who distributed to everybody in northern Russia. So the product itself is an app on a smartphone, is a software in the cloud, and is a software on the broadcaster side that can display the IP video to analog. And there's also management software, but it's a software solution, not a CDN.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Sergey. Iskander, you had another question.
Do you work with mobile operators in the way to provide a white label service for them to provide service to their customers?
Good question. So we have in Russia a rolling project, very big one, with a cellular provider. I can't disclose a name, but they're trying to equip all gas and electricity technicians, you know, the one who come home and they need to check for leaks. So that will be a data solution. In places in Russia or Ukraine where data is very scarce, you know, you don't have a lot of upload from the field, we will optimize the connectivity, cellular connectivity. Mm-hmm. So that would be yes. But our strategy as of today is to focus on video and target broadcasters like the one I showed before, you know, with Arctic TV, give broadcasters, many broadcasters. In Russia itself, there are more than 500, by the way, many regional, many small ones, you know, several do only sports, several are owned by universities. So we will give them, with a cost of hundreds of dollars, something which is very powerful that used to cost dozens of thousands of dollars that not so many could use.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So if you guys can obviously take it one-on-one and chat online. Yeah, all right, sounds good. So our next presenter is Tal with Silo, and it's a new way to package and preserve food. If Tal is here, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. Hi guys, so my name is Tal and I'm the founder and CEO of Silo. With your blessing, I will share my screen. And can you see my screen?
Now we can, yes.
Okay. So just to give you a quick recap of the company before we start, we're a consumer hardware startup. We have raised until today $5.2 million. We're in the final stages of market readiness and already invested in production tooling. The idea is to launch the product in early 2021, preferably to January. Technology is patented and we're looking at big markets today in the US and globally. We are bringing a new premium product to the market and has significant recurring revenue as subscription fees. And we are one of the most successful crowdfunding appliances in recent years on Kickstarter. And we already collected some interest from high-profile strategic investors in distribution and investment in the company, as well as marketing. So let's talk the problem, and this is a big one. And if you look today where we stand, food waste is one of the biggest challenges humanity is facing for the coming years. But when you sort of focus the problem on developed countries, you see that 40% of waste happens on consumer level. People at home are causing the majority of food waste globally. And better products are already out there, and there is technologies that can help us better manage our food. One of these technologies is keeping food in vacuum. The idea is pretty straightforward. You remove oxygen from the surrounding of the food, and you get longer shelf life for different food items. Now, this technology is actually not new. It's mainly used today with machines like this, where you basically vacuum seal your food by placing it in vacuum bags. Now, if you want to use containers, today you sort of need to start plugging hoses and adapters between a container and a unit, or start using manual pumps. Now, the size of this market is actually quite big. We're looking today in the US at about 21% market penetration. That's about 26 million households. And how are we going to disrupt this market? Well, by bringing a completely new innovation to this space.
Tal, we don't hear any audio.
Oh, you don't hear the audio? All right, sorry. So basically, Silo is bringing a new innovation. The world is getting connected, and food storage have basically stayed the same. And our idea with Silo is to bring a new experience in the kitchen around food storage. Literally, all you have to do is put your food in a Silo container and place it on the unit. Within a few seconds, that unit is vacuum packed and ready to go. Now, giving you longer shelf life also create a more challenging experience, and that is how to manage your food. And basically, can you hear me? Yeah.
Hey, yeah, if you're
guys,
not speaking, can you please mute your microphone? Sorry, Tal.
Thanks, Leo. No problem. So we have created a new pattern and technology around vacuum storage. How are we doing it? Well, we're basically deploying a completely new solution by adding a pathway inside a container that allows us to vacuum seal the container from the bottom. We're actually the only company in the world who can vacuum seal a container just by placing it on a unit. No other company in the world has something similar to this technology. Now, taking that to the next stage, we're also building a completely inventory system that allows people to manage their food in Silo. This combines with an app and Alexa to help you manage your food in a completely autonomous way, which sort of paved the way for a connected kitchen where we can hopefully replenish our food in an autonomous way. Now, Silo wants to pioneer
sorry,
this.
You have about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Sorry.
Yeah. So no problem. So Silo is going to pioneer this space by owning the data in the kitchen. And we already see early traction from a Kickstarter campaign that pre-sold $1.4 million products in 30 days. Happy to give more details in a one-on-one conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Tal. And now, we have time for one or two short questions. One big one, two short ones.
Hi, Tal. How big is your margin, which each unit?
So we're looking at a margin of about 50 points for the initial sale. And then the biggest question is how much we will be able to monetize subscriptions, which are, have a much higher margin, as well as upsells. So the goal is to get to a point where we can create 2 to 3x revenues from each user throughout the life cycle of that user compared to the initial sale.
How are you going to solve the problem with the working capital that you will face?
Sorry?
How are you going to solve the problem with working capital? Because it's you have to do a lot of sales.
So the idea is to actually scale gradually. And once we can show that we can sort of generate recurring sales, we're looking into.
Tal, go ahead, just answer. Yeah, I think the question was about the working capital issue. Yeah, how you deal with the cash flow.
So right now we're burning the company's very low burn rate, and we actually plan to look at venture debt in order to finance manufacturing. We're planning to launch the company through a D2C channel. So we will control the inventory in the beginning, and knowing control the inventory will allow us to actually plan better, our working capital and making sure that we always have enough money to move forward.
Thank you very much. I think this is all for our presenters, and thank you very much. And for our panelists, thank you for participating and for the questions. And I'm turning over to Jason.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you so much to all the companies, to Tal from Silo, Guy from OmniStream, Jonathan from Nango, Gal from Telenia, and Giddy from ePlane, and to our investors, Alexander, Alexei, Scott, and Konstantin, and for everyone for joining us. Thank you very much. And of course, a big thank you to our sponsors for their support, Leo and everyone else. Now we're going to move to the second part of the event, which is open networking and one-on-one meetings. So we're going to send right now a link in the chat to another Zoom event where you can go there. We're going to have breakout rooms for companies. If you have a meeting already arranged, go there and we will arrange it, put you in there. Just give us a few minutes once we get started to close this. And if you are interested to meet with a new company, if you put the request here on the pop-up question, we'll get to that in a few minutes, or you can shoot a direct message to myself, to Dorino or Ed, and we'll make sure to make that connection. So we'll be in the next chat, as long as necessary. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us at this event, and we'll see you in a few minutes on the next link.